Hi, everyone. No, I'm not going to sing to you today, um, but I want to bring to you something that has been an encouragement for me, for my life, in my life, for my wife and me, for my family. Something that we've been doing lately a lot, and that we actually stopped doing it a long time ago. I think maybe since Mexico. uh, but lately, I picked my guitar, and actually one of the main reasons why I picked my guitar, you guys know that in Grace, I just play the bass and the drums, uh, and I picked my guitar because I was invited to preach in a Hispanic church through Zoom and sing. So I started practicing, some Spanish songs that I haven't played in a while, many years. So, all started like that. All started just to practicing, but then it became to, some worship nights that I had with Sarah, worshiping our God with some songs, and we were just remembering um, just the beautiful moments we had together in Mexico, worshiping God, serving Him, and and that's what I talk to you about today. Um, about living a life of worship. Just to live a life, a worshiper's life. And of course, there's a one passage. That I think it shows this lifestyle that we're called to do. For instance, Romans the 12 one, present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable, which is your spiritual worship, service, your spiritual service worship to God. And this we have this call from Paul, and we have this call of worship um, in many other places of the Bible. But this call from Paul, this is a call to be worshipers in our daily life, right? Everything that we do should be an act of worship to our God. And today, that's what I want you to share. I want to share with you a little bit about this, call to be worshipers in our daily life. Of course, singing songs is one of the things. Singing praise songs to God is one of the ways we can worship God. And like I mentioned, this is something we have been doing lately, Sarah and myself, and it's been very encouraging. It's been a very blessing time with my wife. Um, and of course, it's been a while since last time we were in a congregation together to worship God. So it's something that I really miss. But these moments with my wife have been beautiful and have been very a blessing for my life, and where we can go and worship God together in songs. But today I want to focus on one passage in First Chronicles 16, First Chronicles 16, 8 to 32. We're not going to see all the passages, all the verses, but I want to kind of pick some verses and actually through all the entire passage of the first book of Chronicles, um, you see many things that repeat, and many of the points that I'm going to show to you today, you're going to see many things that repeat. So I encourage you to, if you have a chance, to read it. First Chronicles 16, 8 to 32. And just to give you a little bit of context, King David it's led the people in a great worship service, since they're bringing back the Ark of the Covenant. They put it back to the tabernacle. So that's why the King David kind of led the people like in a great worship service. And if you see these verses, they're actually a like a compilation of different psalms. You can see how it is a compilation of different psalms, and just they're having this great worship time, this great worship service. So there's the verse 1. There's like 4 things just that I want to show to you. That so 4 things that maybe this week you can practice. You can practice as a worship to our God. There are four things that I want to mention to you. If you read it here, you're going to find more and even more specific ways of worship God. But the first one, it comes from verse 8, which it says, I don't know why I lost my page, but verse 8 says, "Oh, give thanks to the Lord, call upon his name." So the first thing that we can do, very easy, just give thanks to God, right? There are many different ways that we can give thanks to God for everything that is happening. Even though, we're going through tough times here in America, we're privileged. We really are, for all the things that we have. Um, you know, been talking to people from all Latin America, and I see how they are dealing with the coronavirus, and I'm like, wow, we're actually very privileged, for all the things that we have, and for just also the government, the help of the government that we have, and everything. Mexico and Argentina, Costa Rica, many places, the government is not working, it's not helping, or is Mexico, the president is not even caring about it. So we're here. There's so many things that we can give thanks to God. Just talking about those type of things. The way He has provided for us, for the house that we have, for the life. There are so many things that since the moment that we wake up, that we can give thanks to God. So that's one, verse 8. Give thanks to God. It says, "I give thanks to the Lord." King David says, "Call upon His name." And the second one, "Make His deeds known." It's from the same verse. The NIV actually say, "Make known among the nations what He has done." To me, I understand better that. I understand more that version, the NIV, but the ESV says, "Make His deeds known." And I feel like this is something that we can still do. We can show the nation, we can show the people around us the things that God has done in our life. I've seen, and I heard of many testimonies right now of people sharing the gospel, or people coming to Christ because they've seen the way Christians are dealing with coronavirus. So this is a great time that we can show people that to who we trust, that we know that God is in control, and that we rest in that. So, this is make known among the nations what He has done. That's another way we can worship our God. And the third way, sing to Him, sing praise to Him. Verse 9, that's what it says. Sing to Him, sing praise to Him. Tell all His wondrous works. So, that's another thing I've been doing. I've been singing to God with Sarah. We've been praising Him with worship songs. And, I can also doing it while I'm driving, or just, listen to worship songs on the radio, or, on my phone, and just meditating about what we're singing. That's also, a great way to worship our God. And the fourth way, remember the wonders He has done. That's from verse 12. And, many other verses you are going to see that word remember in this David's song of thanks. That's how the ASV calls it. And, remember the wonders that He has done. I was actually going to bring it to me, but I forgot. It's in my office. But I also have a journal, a little journal, where I sometimes I write the things that God has done in my life, and that I have seen. Could be anything that precious thing that He has done in my life. And the first one I have in my journal is from 2012. It's when I became a Christian, and it's right there in my journal. And I even remember I drew something like what I draw the mountains, the hills, the sky, what I was looking at that moment when I was praying, when I was crying out to God, um, and He, answered me that moment, that prayer, and it was amazing. That's one of the things that it might, I remember that moment and I wrote it, and like that, I have many other ways that things that I wrote in my journal that helps me remind about these wonderful things, these wonders. What he says, even he says here in verse 12, remember his miracles. Remember all these things um, that God has done in your life, and it's great. Sometimes I know that if I don't write these things, sometimes I forget. Um, so it is a great way, you know, that I have found in my life that I can remember, and I can sometimes go back and say, you know what, I've been through this before, and God has helped me. He's been uh, taking care of me, and His grace has been, um, you know, His grace has been with me, and I have seen Him working in my life, and so this is what I encourage you to do today, and maybe through and during this week, just to really seek a life. That's another word that we find a lot of these psalms. You're seeking God, but seek, a life of worship. To really seek a life of worshippers life. In our daily life, in everything that we do, giving thanks, showing people, making known, what is it, make His deeds known, singing to Him, remembering things, the wonders that He has done. So this is many things that we can do, and there are even more. So my encouragement to you today, it is to seek that, that um, worshiper uh, lifestyle. To do everything as a worship to God, and just to continue uh, seeking Him during this time where we're probably struggling, or we're, you know, maybe getting tired of just being isolated. But that's my encouragement to you today. Hope you guys have a wonderful week, and we're together, even though we're separate, could worship together our God in every moment.